All right, Coach, Gonzaga or North Carolina? Who you got tonight?
I don't know. It's kind of fun rooting for is it Gonzaga or Gonzaga, right? That's the question. I think I'm going to root for them. Root for Gonzaga.
Well, you've been at small schools your entire career, right? So you always want to root for the little guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Going into week 2, I mean, is this team progressing where you thought that they would be at this point through the through the spring process?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think probably the thing that jumped out at me today is coming on the field. I was probably a little concerned about just our energy after 2 big days, Friday and Saturday, and then being able to come back, after 1 day off and put together a practice. And I think in meetings we were a little sluggish, but when we got on the football field, I like the energy we brought. Doesn't mean that we're perfect. Doesn't mean that we're executing full steam ahead, but the guys are bringing it and have the want to and desire to be pretty good.
Granted, you've only had 1 full week now, 5 on-field practices with these guys, but how different is it here than it was at Eastern Michigan?
I mean, every place kind of has their own little things that they do. I guess it depends on what part of it you want to hit on, like what area.
Just in terms of like the overall vibe, the types of the types of athletes that are coming in here with the mentality of what they can accomplish during the course of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's here is the tradition. I mean, there's an expectation that's happened for many years. And I think our guys know that and feel that and have those high expectations as well. So. There we really had to work on building it from something that didn't exist, and so there is some difference in that way. But in the end, the product that you put on the field, the actions, should help you meet the results. And I think both places do. We've done a pretty good job of having some action. The intensity level, the focus on detail, all those things. These guys are doing a good job.
With you talked about the focus, the detail and everything. I mean, I don't know if you guys have it in the meeting rooms, the posting of the record last year, you weren't here for that, but, how quickly do you think these guys are just willing to leech on to whatever you and Coach Tedford and the other position coach say to put that in the past and not even think about it anymore?
Yeah, I think that's what we really need them to do is put it behind, and every year's a new year. You understand what the crutches were from last year that you struggled on, but we need to move forward. And even from practice to practice, from play to play, you got to move forward, and you can't sit and worry about what the past was. And you just got to move on and make yourself better the next play, the next practice, the next year.
Coach Tedford had said that the goals by the end of spring ball is to see progress, to see development. Is that in line with what you're hoping by April 29th?
Yeah, and we're seeing progress for sure. I see us having the mindset that we want to run football, and that's coming from all of us to be physical. But it's just I think in the pass game, I think you're seeing improvement. You're seeing guys starting to play fast. I can't say that we've installed a lot right now. I think we've kept it pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But the guys are doing a good job executing those few things well that we put in.
A lot of position battles up for grabs, but everyone wants to know what's up with the quarterbacks. How is their development with 5 on-field practices?
Right.
Who do you see? Is there anyone standing out from that group?
Well, we were just talking on the side here. You can never look at what's going on that day and try to make an assumption from the outside, because today was about evening up the reps that didn't happen on Saturday, for the quarterbacks. So some of the quarterbacks didn't get as many as the others, but I think each guy brings a little bit something different. Chasen's got kind of that savviness because he's got some experience under his belt, and you see that out there. He finds matchups, and I think even though it's a different verbiage, he understands the schemes we're running, because there's always similarities from staff to staff on what you're running. Jorge, he ad-libs things, makes things happen that way. That's kind of who he is. Christian, when he's got guys that are open, knows where he wants to go with the ball. He's as good as anyone at making a throw. And Quentin is pretty cerebral. He understands the game and understands what we're expecting of him in his progressions. And they all do something a little bit, but I think Chasen probably right now, just because he returns, with a lot of experience, is the one taking the reps with the ones. I think everyone sees that, but doesn't mean it's his. I mean, they're all trying to hunt him down. That's for sure.
And granted, it's obviously still early. We're in what's today, the 4th of April. Do you expect to name a starting quarterback by fall camp, by the end of spring? Do you want some guy to have a leg up? Like, what's your timetable for that
Yeah,
position?
I want them all competing. So, won't name anything, after the spring. 'Cause I just think there's so much left. I mean, they're all still learning the offense, and so all summer long, it's who can grab the attention and grasp the scheme of the offense, the concepts that we're putting in, but then also who can grab the rest of the people, the offensive line, who can get those guys to play hard for them when they're on the football field. So, I think there's still a long ways to go before we decide on who's going to be the starting quarterback.
When you're out here, is there a particular position group that you try to focus on more, or are you observing, your position coaches as well as, all the players try to do?
We're trying to be pretty balanced, have a good balance of run to pass and give each guy a chance to make plays. But I probably right now, just because we want to be physical, if there's a choice to make when we're moving the football, if I can run or pass, I probably run it right now just to try to improve. Every rep that we get makes us that much better, and I think that's an area that we want to be great at, and so I'm trying to focus on probably running the football a little bit more than even throwing it.
Is it tough to get to know the position coaches as well, because you're still trying to feel out, what they bring to the table also, right?
No, I think we're pretty good. I think it's a great group of guys. I love being around them. Coaching staff, Coach Tedford did an amazing job knowing personalities and understanding what each guy would bring to the table, not just in the football sense, but the chemistry, and that's what you got to have. You got to have people that can counter each other. One guy's maybe a little more intense than the other. One guy, kind of knows how to give a player here the pat in the butt to keep him going. We all got to compliment each other.
What is the goal for installation by the end of spring? How much do you want to get in?
I'd say we'll probably get through a little more than half. I don't know if we'll get, big heavy packages in, for like goal line and short yardage. We'll have probably, some things like that in towards the end, kind of your specials and things like that. I doubt we'll, do many of those. But the main thing is they understand the base concepts and just the procedures that we got to use. And so I think, there'll be still some things we can put in during the summer now with the rules that they have in place, for us to be able to meet with them. We'll be able to do more at that time as well.
What is the focus right now of time that's not spent installing, just working on the players in particular?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of install. We went 4 practices last week, and then we had 1 day off, and we went another one. So five in 7 days, I guess, or 8 days, I guess. So it's been pretty heavy install up to this point, and so their minds are spinning at times. The defense does a good job of throwing a lot of looks at us, and so every play has a little something different that we have to, they got to sort out. But they're doing a good job, and by the end of the week, we need them playing fast and the base things that we've installed here through the first 2 weeks.
Everyone's curious to see what Bulldog offense is going to look like next year.
Absolutely.
Can you describe it without giving away too much?
Well, I think we want to attack. We want to be physical. We want to be tough. When it's crunch time, we need to come through. We need to convert on 3rd down, and so have the ability to change speeds, change tempos. Have at some point, I'm sure as we build our personnel, I'm sure we'll have many personnel groupings that we can go to as we build our depth, at each position. But we do want to have, multiple personnel groupings as well.
And as far as the success you've had in the past and coming here to bring that, what are some of the key principles you try to get across to your personnel?
Yeah, all those things I just mentioned, being tough. Response to adversity, I think, is the key. I mean, it's just, the schemes are important, but it's everything you do before. Like, culture beats scheme. I still believe that. And, just how our guys respond when times are tough is going to be so important to our success.
I just have one more question.
Yep.
Obviously, being the offensive coordinator gives you, leeway to make decisions, but ultimately everything rests with the head coach. How many conversations do you have with Coach Tedford, or at this point, does he trust you to make decisions on your own, or is everything a collaborative effort?
Oh, I think it's all a collaborative effort. He's awesome. I mean, we talk every day. He comes in the staff room, while we're watching film as an offensive staff, and we need him involved. He's the head coach first of all, and I would do the same thing if I was the head coach. Because he's the one that has to answer all the questions, and so it's awesome having him involved. I've been on some staffs where it's been a defensive coach, so it's different, but I love it. I think what it does is it forces you to really pay attention to details as you install it, and you're communicating with your players, putting in the offense.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.